You ever notice how pros' movement when they're fighting players is extremely fast? Not only that, but when they're moving around the whole map it's extremely fast? Well, that's because they possess some things that some of us lack. However, in this video, we're gonna fix that. The first thing that they're good at that a lot of people aren't is they have extremely good double movement. Now, if you don't know what double movement is by this point, I'm gonna put a clip on the screen for you to see, but pretty much what it is being able to not just run straight and look straight, but be able to run side to side and still be looking in the same direction. Now, part of why double movement is important in being a fast fighter is because you're able to gain an angle advantage over your opponent. Here's an example. Say you're fighting someone and you're on one of the walls of their box. By having double movement enabled, you're able to edit this window and full box them from a much better angle and much quicker. But double movement isn't only useful in fights, it can also be used to rotate. Now, why this is important is because it's almost like double tasking. You're able to go one way while still focusing on what's coming from another direction. This is important because there's tons of things going on around you, so you can either protect yourself or see if there are any players fighting nearby so you can go third party. The next thing that gives pros way better movement in fights and while rotating is the use of utility items. The two best examples of this are Flowberry Fizz and Bounce Pads. There's a reason that every pro Fortnite player carries Flowberry Fizz, and that's so they can not only rotate faster, but also get a height and a speed advantage over the person that they're fighting. Recently, I've started doing this, and it's been a big step of getting early tags in a fight. The next thing I want to mention pros do to get them places faster, either fighting or rotating, is minimizing the time that they waste. Now, what this means is pros don't waste time looting, healing, or even fighting. Those first two things are pretty easy, looting and healing. You can just do them quicker. However, fighting is a whole nother story. You can't just end the fight quicker just because you want to. You have to actually be better than the person you're going against, and that comes from practice, which I just so happen to have a couple of videos on. Now, the last thing, and this is kind of a bonus tip, but part of what makes pros really fast in their movement is their timing when it comes to their sprinting, sliding, and running in general. Now, you might think that you have it mastered just because you have a good rhythm when you're jumping and then sliding, but it's a lot deeper than that. Now, I can't go into every detail about how pros have good timing because this video would be like 3 hours long, but the best way to learn is to actually watch them and then see when and why they're doing what they're doing with their movement. Why they were sliding and building a row of walls instead of just sprinting and building a row of walls. And it takes a lot of watching pro Fortnite players to actually get good movement. But when it all comes together, it's very, very rewarding. Now, that's all I have on this topic for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, I'd appreciate you subscribing. But thanks for watching.